Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we just about have this refueled at this point. I've advanced time it's been about 4 days here. Now that's not actual days up here because these are Kerbin days. It's been 4 moon days, which are several days each. It's a little confusing, but it's been a decent chunk of time, and we've just about got this filled up. Now, as you can see, this is definitely very offset. We will fix that once we get into orbit, hopefully. But as you can see out over here, if we can pull these out, all of these tanks are full. At this point, we have managed to fill all of those, and the center tank here is full. This one here still has some work to do. As you can see, this is nearly full. This one, we're still working on. So let's go ahead and start transfer here, because once it filled all of these, it started to fill these as well, but I also had it move them over to here via this transfer dialog. So we're going to start transfer here. There we go. And let's just bring this timing on up so that we can hopefully see that this is coming up. Yes, indeed. And we can see that this is at 172. Okay. So my main question is, what is that top tank considered part of? It looks like that's considered part of this. So I'm guessing that once this fills, it's going to start filling this tank exclusively at that time. So we should be very close to there. We may have to go another day, but we'll see. Okay, so this is now full. Ah, yes, this is now exclusively filling this tank. That's perfect. Okay, so that looks good. We should now be completely filled up over here. By the way, I do have unlimited heat turned on because of this nonsense. I have no idea what's going on with this overheat. There shouldn't be this much heat being generated out over here. There really shouldn't. But for the time being, we're just going to assume it's fine. And yeah, that'll be that. So what we need to do at this point is we need to detach this connector. There we go. This connector is now detached, and we need to hop on over to... Wait a sec. I just realized that we're going to need to probably top off our life support here. Okay, where's our lander at? Here we go. Dunvan, I need you to EVA. Yeah, we've got basically no food here, so we definitely need to top that off. Okay, Dunvan, hop on over. Come on, Dunvan. Can you... Anytime you want to be controllable, that would be great, Dunvan. Okay, so we're going to hop over this way for now. Just kind of scooting on over this direction. We're going to re-grab this. There we go. I'm going to reattach this guy. I'm going to quick save, and we're going to re-dock this. Okay, no cracking. Looks good. So now what we need to do is we need to find our way into the actual ship here, which there are still some bits scattered around here, but here we go. This is what I'm looking for. And now we need to go into the UI here. Okay, and then Resource Manager. I no longer care about liquid fuel and oxidizer. This should be fine as it is. Man, this thing is so slow to scroll with the mouse wheel. Okay. What we care about right now is food, which we want to move from, let's see here, that is that, so in, and then this up here would be out. So we're going to start that transfer, and we're going to fill up everything that we've got on the ship here with food. We're going to do the same thing with water and O2. So oxygen is here. There we go. So this is going to be out. This is going to be in, and this is going to be in. So that's starting to transfer now too. And then as far as water goes, this is going to, of course, be out. This is going to be in, and this is going to be in. We have very little water stored here. That's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, so we should be pretty much good to go now. That's all of our life support transferred over to this craft. Now we need to find Dunvan again. Where are you at, Dunvan? He's here somewhere. Here's Dunvan. Okay, so this is currently in docked mode. We're going to undock. The pad launcher's water is now depleted. That's understood. That's this. It should start to make a little bit more out of wastewater, which it should have some wastewater on it. Now we're going to grab this connector, and we're going to need to bring this back over here. In retrospect, we should probably have this be set up oppositely, where this one is on the colony, and then this one would be on the actual craft. Because I think that's the way that the weight distribution is set up, where the lighter weight one would be on the craft, which would be what we would ultimately want. Okay, so let's get this here. And we're just going to need to jump on up, I think, and return connector. There we go. And now we're just going to detach this guy. And I'm going to grab this. Sure, we can put it here for now. That's fine. What I really want to do, though, is I want to put it in his inventory for the moment. So we're just going to grab it and put it right up over here. I'm going to reattach it out over this way. We're not going to attach it to anything, but we're just going to leave it here. I don't want to bring it with. So that should be fine, and we should be ready to return these Kerbals back to Kerbin. They have been here for a very long time, I want to point out. They've been here for months at this point. So if we grab this and attach it here, would that allow it? No, it wouldn't. It would allow it here. This is fine. I don't care where it goes. We're just going to put that there. Now, I'm not going to delete this colony here. We definitely need to do something about this joint. I'm not going to delete this colony here. We're just going to SAS on, please. Thank you. We're just going to leave and kind of ignore it. And Dunvan, what are you doing, bud? One of these days he'll make his way in without hitting his head. Perfect. There we go. So Dunvan can go ahead and board. I just want to make sure we've got a pilot up here. I believe that we do. This is we've got 2 engineers and a scientist, actually. So I don't think we have any control here, do we? I'm able to WASDA. Maybe we do have control. Full crew control. I'm actually surprised. Our pilots are down here. We've got Jebediah here, and we've got Pabus here. So those are our pilots. Apparently they can control this. Remarkable. Now, I really don't like the situation that we've got going on here, but let's just get out of here for now. We'll call it good. Let's put ourselves in surface up, and let's go. So we're lifting off, and I'm going to retract these landing legs. There we go. I'm just rotating us to the azimuth here. This is definitely a little sluggish because it's fully fueled. We weren't necessarily expecting to fly this thing fully fueled. So we're going to need to get a fair amount of altitude here. I think that's very clear. Our current apoapsis height is about 2 kilometers. We're not that much higher above sea level here. So let's just build ourselves up some vertical speed. We've got a lot of delta V in this, but not a huge amount of thrust to weight here. I'm used to taking off from the moon with a much lighter payload than this, so that's fine for now. Let's burn here until our apoapsis is about maybe like 10 kilometers, and then we'll take ourselves over to horizontal velocity up. But actually, I'm going to do this we're going to go into kill rot for now. Okay, we should probably extend our solar panels and our antenna. There we go. Excellent. And this is definitely sluggish. There's no doubt about that. We are at an apoapsis height of about 6.5 kilometers right now. I'm definitely very used to having far less fuel than this. That's okay. We will burn off the majority of this fuel. So first things first, of course, we need to achieve orbit. So that's 9 kilometers apoapsis and 10. Okay, let's just go ahead and start heading on over here. There we go, on the 90-degree heading. Perfect. We'll just park ourselves right at the horizon and start building up our horizontal velocity. You can see here time to apoapsis is decreasing at this point, so we might have to burn a little bit less horizontally eventually, but for now this is absolutely fine. So they've been here for a very, very long time at this point. This definitely proved that we can set up something like this. I think that was a very, very successful test. But we've got a lot of work ahead of us before we set up a permanent colony on Duna. That's for sure. This one was always intended to be a temporary pathfinder that would be left behind like this and eventually superseded. So we're 40 seconds to apoapsis at this point. I can see that this is not going down at 1 second per second. So that's definitely noted. For the time being, we've got a lot more speed to build up here. Our thrust to weight is up to 2.04, so that's something. But I'm just watching that time to apoapsis. We're probably going to need to get a little bit more verticality here. Yeah, let's let this drop down until about 10 seconds to apoapsis. But I don't think we're going to achieve orbit on this particular horizontal burn. I think we're going to need to toss in a little bit more verticality. Yeah, we definitely need to. So I'm just bringing this up over to about here. Okay, this is going up in time to apoapsis here. So we'll just burn about here until the apoapsis height is maybe like 15 kilometers, and then let's go back up to horizontal velocity up. We're not exactly on the 90-degree marker. It doesn't matter that much. Let's just burn here, though. Okay, so at this point, we are at an apoapsis height of 12.5. And this is looking reasonably fine. We need to get into a proper orbit before we look to fix these offset issues. These were caused by warping, and we would definitely like to have them fixed before we do a re-entry. There's no doubt about that. So this is currently at 14.5, and that's at 15. So I'm now taking it to horizontal velocity up, and we're just going to build this up. We're nearly at orbital speed at this point, so this is looking pretty good. And we'll just take this apoapsis up to, I don't know, maybe like 50. 50 should be absolutely fine. Okay, so that's 19 there, and 20. Yeah, we're definitely basically at orbital velocity right now. You can see our periapsis height is coming up quite quickly at this point, so that looks good. But our apoapsis height is going to start going up exponentially fast. We're still technically suborbital right now. Okay, so now we're technically orbital, but if we were to try to orbit like this, we would crash. And yeah, this over here is definitely an unsafe altitude. It looks like we would impact here, according to KER. We're not actually going to do that, of course. We are going to burn prograde here, and we're just going to circularize that up, get ourselves nice and into orbit. Okay, so that looks fine for now. We probably should have emptied our wastewater and our carbon dioxide before we left, at least as much as we could, but it doesn't matter that much. Okay, so let's align to that node, and we'll work on getting this all put together soon enough. We're going to quick save before we detach any of these parts, that's for sure, because who knows? The Kraken might strike. It's always a risk. So at this point, we can see we burned off, what? This is like about a third of our external fuel tanks. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So let's warp around about 12 minutes, and we're going to burn at the apoapsis here, or very close to it. It's about a 7-second burn to get ourselves properly into orbit. Hello, Kerbal. Okay, so about 50 seconds. 40, yep. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, this should be a good enough orbit. I don't really care about anything else. So let's put this into kill rot for right now. I'm going to quick save in case anything goes horribly wrong with our deep space realignment. And then let's have Dunvin EVA. And the real question here is, can he manipulate these parts in this gravity? So for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to do this. I want to detach this joint here. So we're going to... That is considered the root part, and we can't detach that. We can detach this. So that might be the root that we have to go with that. So if we were to do this... That's interesting. Oh, so we still have the weight issue. Huh. I didn't expect that. I expected this to work like in Kerbal construction, where there's no limit here. Well, in that case, we might just have to do the re-entry as it is. Because now we don't really have a way to do anything here, so... Like, rejoining this together would be exciting. Well, maybe. Hang on. Bill is going to EVA. Anytime you want to get out here, Bill, that would be great. And then Not a Gun is going to EVA. Anytime you want to get out here too, Not a Gun. All hatches are obstructed. Oh, right, because Bill is still here. Bill, get... Why are you doing that, Bill? Okay, get out of there. Okay, Not a Gun, EVA. Okay, so Not a Gun is EVA'd and is grabbed onto there. Bill is going to need to come over here, and then we're going to need to swap to Dunvin here. Okay, Dunvin is now too far away. We can do this. But replacing it is very awkward. Okay, so let's just position about here for now. Where's our other Kerbal at? He's floating away. Bill, get back here. Okay, so the idea now is that we just need to get this a little closer. So we grab this. I'm going to place it over here. Okay. Now, we need to swap over to Dunvin. Here's Dunvin. I don't think we're close enough now. Yeah, this is too heavy. We need Bill up over here. This is gaining a lot of momentum away from where we want it to go. We can't place it in space, which makes it very awkward for us. Yeah, I think we're going to have to reload this at this point. So that is noted that it still has the mass requirements while in space. That is a distinct difference from the way that Kerbal construction works, where there's no limit once we're in orbit. Well, actually, hang on. I wonder. Close this, close this, close this. Dunvin, where are you at? Okay, Not a Gun, I want you to turn your jetpack on, please. And come on over here. We need to get all of these guys, you know, relatively nearby. Okay, come on down. I want to just have Not a Gun hop in here for now. Okay, board. Can I board, please? Thank you. Now, Bill is here. We're going to bring Bill on over as well. So we've gotten a lot of momentum separating these, which is definitely not ideal at this moment. We can reload that save. I would prefer to avoid that. My real question right now is, well, we can push it with Kerbal EVA. That's definitely an option that we can do here. Okay, board that. Now, Dunvin, where are you at? Here's Dunvin. So my goal right now is for Dunvin to come over here. And he is going to fix this alignment. In theory. Now, this problem shouldn't have been a problem to begin with. This was caused by warping while on the ground. But let's just go ahead and... Right, this is considered a root part right now. And we can't reroute this here. So what we would have to do is we would have to detach this like that. And now this is slightly too heavy. So we need to hop into this because we need to EVA somebody. Billy Bobcat, you'll do. And that added a bunch of bad momentum. Okay. And Billy Bobcat has no life support at this point. Okay, we're going to have to reload this. We're getting really, really awkward physics issues with it. That's fine, and lesson learned that we don't want to try to do that. Now, the next problem as we come in is that if we're in this state, I think we're going to have some issues, particularly with heating right here. That's my issue, or my concern right now. That means we're going to have to re-enter very slowly. So yeah, we definitely had some awkward physics there going on that was giving us pushes that we shouldn't have had, and that's why I decided to abort that. I was content with trying to get it back to where it should be, up until this one started spinning off into the distance. So with that in mind, I think we're going to have to try to just bring this back as it is. In the future, we'll have like a cargo craft that is designed to be able to hold things inside of a container. But for right now, I think we're just going to have to bring this back. And that pretty much means a burn right about here. It's going to be a pro-grade burn, and we're going to bring this down to somewhere around... I want this to be pretty much 70 kilometers. We've got a lot of DV here, and I want to use it. I want to do a very low energy re-entry because I'm concerned about these offset parts, which again, these parts should not be offset. That is itself a bug. So that's understood. But for right now, we're just going to have to work around it. So we're going to warp our way on over to this point. That burn is going to be in about 9 minutes, and it's going to be a 300 meter per second burn. Okay, should be fine. So we want to rely as little as possible on our heat shield here, is the way that this is going to end up working. So let's warp forward a little further. 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, let's go ahead and physics warp this burn a bit. It's going to be about a 1 minute burn, so that seems fine. We'll bring this right on back. 20 seconds. And 10 seconds. And the burn will be done in 2, 1, 0, approximately now. Let's put ourselves in kill rot, and let's see where that put us. 62,334. Okay. Let's bring this around to retrograde. We don't want to be this low in the atmosphere yet. We'll get there. We just want to be very cautious with this re-entry. So this is going to be bringing this up to around there. That should be fine. Okay, now we should warp to the apoapsis here, I think. Yes, that is correct. So let's get out of here. So we're exiting the sphere of influence of the moon now. Perfect. And of course, once we get over to the periapsis here, which is currently at about 70 kilometers, we're going to add a retrograde burn. We've got a bit of an inclination. I don't care. That's fine. We launched from a non-equatorial position, so that seems absolutely okay. And we'll just position this right about here or so. Timing is a little bit off, but I think this is fine, honestly. That's technically dipping slightly into the atmosphere. Let's move it out like this way a little bit. Yeah, this'll do. So this is just barely in orbit at this point. And this is going to burn out all of the fuel in these side tanks and a tiny amount of our fuel in this center tank, but not very much. So we'll still have a decent amount of fuel here to do our actual re-entry. And a lot of that speed is going to be burned off instead of decelerated via aerobraking. Because I am concerned about what's going on here, for sure. We've had issues with that in this series before, so that's absolutely a concern. Okay, so let's warp on over, and let's make sure that this didn't lie to us. Let's see here. Where are we? I cannot see what that periapsis says, but we can see the periapsis here is fine. So that's okay. So we're going to warp forward a little bit further here. 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. So now we're going to burn out all of this remaining fuel. This is going to be a pretty lengthy burn, about a 3-minute burn, so let's just physics warp our way through that. Everything is looking great there. And as far as the actual return here goes, this is going to be a next episode sort of thing where we're going to do the return and start doing some serious planning for our Duna colony. But for now, getting these guys down is, of course, going to be the top priority. We dipped into the atmosphere here. That surprises me. But it's just barely. So for the moment, I think it's okay. We can adjust that a bit later in the burn. But yeah, I didn't expect to dip into the atmosphere. It's very low. We're going back up now, so I'm not concerned about that. We do still have a few seconds of burn time left in these tanks, so we should probably be in physics warp here. Okay, so we've got about 3 seconds left to burn. 1, 0. Okay, we're back in space now. Okay, I don't know what that did. That's correct. Cool. And we're just bringing this apoapsis height down. I'm noting the periapsis height. It's looking fine. Let's call this good enough. The periapsis height did dip down into the atmosphere, but I think that's absolutely okay. So we're going to do our re-entry next episode, and that should be fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.